السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. Ramadan Mubarak. Welcome back to our Ramadan story time. I have a story for you today that is extra special because it's written by a Muslim author who many of you may know. Her name is Aya Khalil and she's from right here in Toledo. And this story is illustrated by Anayat Samir Dizyan. Let's begin. It's called The Arabic Quilt, an immigrant story. The Arabic Quilt. I love the colors. It's dedicated to the author's grandparents and her twins. Kenzie Habibti, you're going to be late to the first day of school, Mama calls. I'm coming, Mama. Kenzie stuffs her notebook into her backpack and quickly but carefully folds her quilt, the special one Teta made in Egypt. Breakfast is delicious. Egyptian fava beans, homemade French toast, and watermelon with feta cheese and mint. Zakaria has watermelon juice dripping down his chin. He looks happy. I packed your favorite lunch for you, a kufta sandwich, Baba exclaims. Shukran, Baba, Kenzie says. But secretly, she wishes her Baba would pack her a peanut butter and jelly sandwich instead. Her family has just moved to this town and she doesn't know anyone. She doesn't want to be different. In the car, Mama sings along with the songs on the Arabic radio channel. When they pull up to the school, Kenzie turns down the radio volume. Mama gives her a confused look. Good luck today, Mama says. Bahibbik. I love you too, Kenzie responds. In class, Mrs. Hagen asks all the students to share 3 facts about themselves. When it's Kenzie's turn, she says bravely, I am Egyptian American. I love to swim. I love to write poetry. Then she sits, looking down at her desk. At lunchtime, Kenzie is surprised when Mama walks through the door. Habibti, you forgot your lunchbox. Habibti, like the Hobbit? Isn't your name Kenzie? Molly snickers. Her classmates laugh with her as they walk to the cafeteria. Mrs. Hagen sees tears rolling down Kenzie's cheeks. What's wrong? She asks. Molly made fun of what my mama said. Kenzie replies. Oh, Kenzie, being bilingual is beautiful. And bilingual means that you're able to speak 2 languages. Says Mrs. Hagen. Don't let anyone make you feel ashamed. You are special. That night, as Mama puts leftover shorbet adas in Kenzie's lunchbox, Kenzie gently pats Mama's back. Can you please pack me a turkey sandwich instead? Before bed, Kenzie writes a poem as she hugs her quilt, which smells like Teta's home. The next day, Molly says, Mrs. Hagen said I hurt your feelings. I'm sorry I laughed at your mom's language. It sounded funny. It may sound funny to you, but that is only because you don't speak Arabic, Kenzie says. She feels a lump forming in her throat. My parents say that learning different languages makes a person smarter and kinder, she blurts out. Okay, whatever, Molly says, skipping away. Mrs. Hagen calls Kenzie to her desk after lunch. I found this notebook on the floor and it was open to a lovely poem, she says. I was describing my Teta's quilt, Kenzie says. When I visited her in Egypt, she gave it to me. My Teta only speaks Arabic. Mrs. Hoggin smiles. That is special. I would love to see your quilt. Can I bring it to school? Kenzie asked. Sure, bring it tomorrow, Mrs. Hoggin says. The next day, Kenzie unfolds her quilt in front of the class. Her heart is pounding. This is my quilt that my teta in Egypt made, she says. That's cool. I want to make a quilt like that, Kareem says. Maybe we can all make one for our classroom, Claire shouts. Mrs. Hoggin nods and smiles. On Friday, Mrs. Hoggin makes an announcement. I have an exciting project for us all to work on. Kenzie's mom is here to help us make a quilt of all your names in Arabic. As Mama steps forward, Kenzie thinks how beautiful she looks. Shukran for welcoming me here, Mama says. Kenzie and I will write down your names in Arabic and you will copy your name on your own quilt piece. Molly is not enthusiastic about the project. Who cares about Arabic? We live in America. My mom says we should only speak English. In response, Mrs. Hoggin starts writing words on the board. Algebra, coffee, lemon, sugar. Does anyone know what these words have in common, she asks. They come from Arabic words? Kenzie whispers. And you know that's right. I'll just tell you on the side, algebra comes from the Arabic word al-jabr. Coffee comes from the Arabic word qahwa. Lemon comes from the Arabic word laymoon. Sugar comes from the Arabic word sukkar. Let's get back to our story. Mrs. Hoggin nods. Learning other languages, besides the one we grow up with, helps make the world a friendlier place. We can speak non-English languages and still be American. I wonder what my name looks like in Arabic, Tamika says. Kenzie and Mama write down everyone's names. Neat. Shukran, Amina exclaims. Everyone copies their Arabic names onto sheets of colored paper. Then they decorate their papers with glitter and jewels and place them on the table for the glue to dry. On Monday morning, you will see a beautiful class quilt hanging in the hall, Mrs. Hoggin tells them. Kenzie is nervous when the bell rings on Monday morning and the kids file into school. What if the quilt didn't turn out nicely? The quilt hangs on the bulletin board outside Mrs. Hoggin's classroom. The colorful papers with their Arabic names have been cut into different shapes and sizes, and all the pieces are stapled together. Kenzie stands in awe, reading names in Arabic. Claire, Leah, Molly, Ivy, Jack, Lucas, Brianna, Chang, Deshawn, Sam, Angela, Lily, Amina. Teachers and older students stop to look at the names, trying to figure out whose name is whose. Wow, look at those beautiful letters. They're like drawings, they say. That was a really cool project, Kenzie. Shukran, Kenzie's classmates tell her. I'm sorry I made fun of you, says Molly. I didn't realize how important a different language is. Can you write my mom's name in Arabic? I want to give it to her as a gift. Okay, Kenzie says. Do you want to go swimming soon? I'd love to, Kenzie nods as Molly hugs her. Aww. Leaving class a week later, Kenzie stops to look at the Arabic quilt one last time. What else does she see? Right across from it, she is surprised to see another collage of names in a language that she doesn't recognize. Those are my classmates' names in Japanese, Kura says. Our teacher was inspired by your classroom's idea, and she asked me to help write everyone's name in Japanese. Aren't languages a beautiful thing? They can truly unite us. Kenzie smiles in agreement. In her room that night, Kenzie holds Teta's quilt tightly as she writes a poem for her parents. Shukran, Mama and Baba, for always encouraging me to be proud of speaking a different language and speaking it out loud. Languages can unite us together like a quilt. So I will always speak my languages without guilt. I will never be ashamed to speak in this language that is so unique. بحبك ماما. بحبك بابا. The end. What a beautiful story. I hope you liked this story just as much as I did, and I hope you learned that being different from one another makes this world a much more beautiful, a better, and more interesting place.